Good morning, everyone. So, today, let's discuss about psychological first aid. So, psychological first aid is, again, isa siya sa ato ang ginagamit. So, ang gakandak ani are not just professionals, but of course, katong mga individuals or mga tao nga karing may knowledge about the process, no? So, and of course, even guidance and counseling. So, nga na siya. So, during this time, karing pag face na to sa pandemic, diri isa sa period of time nga na nagtaas gyud ang rate of this gitawag na to og mental health problems or issues, psychological issues. That's because maybe caused by the lockdowns, no? So we have different stressors. So then kayo stressors ang tao, dahag factors nga makaapekto sa ato ang mental health, especially ato ang basic needs, atong trabaho, how we feed our family, our income, source of income, our health problems. So daghan kayo taog stressors. Then sabayan pa sa lockdown kung asa maglisod tag access sa ato ang needs, lisod ma-meet ato ang needs, bisag ato ang food gani atong basic needs lisod. So it will really cost or nag-cost gid siya og problem when it comes to psychological aspects na to. So because na addition lang, we created because atong time when it sa ECQ or GCQ, nagtaas man gud ang kumbaga nagtaas ang rate sa mga nag-suicide, mga katong may mga iba nga poor families nga gipatay na lang nila lahang anak kay wala na ipakaon. So in some part of Socsargen may mga nahitabo ngay nga na. So we created a Facebook page. No, most of the members there are social workers, RSW. I don't know kung may gisaling other professionals like psychologists, but sa akong pagkabalo are social workers. So gipangalan na mog SOX PF Aiders o SOX PF Aiders. So ang tumong ana or ang target ana is to address mental health issue. So for katong mga need og counseling, tong need og someone to talk with, no, to para maanuhan sila ang problema, kumbaga ma-share ilang problem para dili siya ma-fall into depression. Gi-create tamo to siya nga group, no, to help people nga may gina-face nga mental health problem. So we provided our contact numbers, and of course asa may connected nga agency or institution para kung gusto nila ma-meet, they can reach us. So psychological first aid for all. When we say psychological first aid for all, dili lang siya applicable for adults. It's also applicable for children, not just applicable for men, but also applicable to women. So nganong applicable to all? That's because ang mental health issue walay pili. or ang mental health problem or psychological problem, wala siya ginapili. As long as na ay source of stress, daghang factors of stress, bisag unsa man ka nga edad, naadjud kay maging psychological problem. So there are people nga they can cope up alone, no? They can cope up sa ilahang gina-face nga mental health problems. Pero mostly dili ka kaya nga, and even maka-realize nga nanaday sila psychological problem, right? So dili tatanan may kakayahan para mingon ay naday ko ani, nagka problema day ko kay naglisod ko ani. So dili tatanan may kakayahan ana, o dili tanan may kakayahan mag cope up. That's why some of us nagatap og nagasik og professional help, or even simple nga guidance from others or counseling from others. Yan na siya. World Mental Health Day 2016. It is an annual event which aims to raise awareness of mental health issues across the globe. So during World Mental Health Day, natay mga advocates paano likayan ang mental health or psychological problems, or dili man gid siya malikayan but to lessen, no? We raise awareness. Some of us are unconscious nga nanaday tay psychological problems. Mingon lag ano man gud ma'am, sige ra kog damgo nga gipaak daw kog bitin naguro siya ginapasabot. Kada gabi ma'am karang madamguan ako nga ingani, or mo ko ginakapoy ma'am nga nakapoy sir, mingaw kayo ma'am, feel ako mingaw kayo akong kinabuhi. So that's because they are unconscious nga naaday sila nanday sila psychological problem, which sometimes naga-appear na lang silang dream, no? Naga-appear silang dream, and we use some theories para to address like dream analysis, no? The psychodynamic therapy, psychoanalysis therapy, and other therapies. So nga na siya. Mobilize efforts in support of mental health. When we say mobilize support, kinsa man tong mga pwede maka-address, no? Like for example sa atua, kinsa man ang ang mga supports, like for example from family ba, kinsa man ta mas close, friends ba, or professionals. So we make them kumbaga ginapa-aware nato sila kung asa sila pwede mo duol pag maka-experience sila og psychological problem or mental health issues. Mental health problems are an extremely important issue worldwide due to their impact on human rights and quality of life of those affected and their families. So mental health problems are extremely important issue. Nga naman, pag naganit tay sakit physically, no? Like for example, nasamad imong kamot, pwede gyapon ka makatrabaho, maka-work gyapon ka, maka-think gyapon ka, kag makahuna-huna gyapon ka og tarong. But pag nagani ka sa state kung asa stress kay ka, no, karang depressed ka, maglisod ka og focus, no? Maglisod kag trabaho, dili ka ka-focus sa trabaho, dili ka ka-focus sa eskwela, dili ka ka-focus mostly sa imuhang ginabuhat. So that's why this is an important issue nga ma-address immediately, no? Because some of us, especially pag mawala na tag self-worth, or mawala na tao karing feel ni mawala na kay used or pulos diri sa kalibutan, sometimes there are people nga mag-tend to commit suicide, or pag dili man sila ma-feel useless, feel nila kapoy na, tired, di commit suicide. So nga na. Okay. Crisis events, both large scale and individual. So crisis events, unsa man ang crisis events? So mao ni sila ang mga events kung asa naga-cause og paglisod sa tao. Like for example, this pandemic, disasters. So unsa pa, daghan kayo og different causes of crisis. So disaster is sa pinaka dako og impact. For example, gibagyo nangaguba ang balay. So dili lang man isa ka individual ang affected ana, but the entire community or even an entire city. So nga na siya, which is a large scale or individual ang affected. Occur in every community in the world. Large scale events include natural disasters, war and terrorist attacks, disease outbreak or karing pandemic karon, large scale displacement of people and communities, kato bitong mga na-demolish, katong migrants kung asa sila magpuyo, the refugees, so nga na. Individual events affect one or few people such as accidents, robbery or assault. So isa po ni sila sa naga-cause og, or isa po sila considered as crisis event, like accidents, no? Katong na ilahang nagapadulong sila sa city, gabiyahe padulong sa city, then na-aksidente sila. So dili man namin nga madala ra nag-smile, di man ta pwede makaingon nga wala bitaw ka namatay. So dili man nga na. So they are in a state kung asa the victims are in a state kung asa they have traumas, like makakita na sila og sakyanan, madlok na sila, makulbaan din sila. So this is actually isa sa for me this is isa sa pinakagrabe why. Example lang, akong lola is nadisgrasya sa before. So dalaga pa yata siya, or may asawa na nadisgrasya siya sa jeep. So ang naging effect ato is till now dili na siya mosakay og sakyanan. So wala siya gasakay og sakyanan, or wala siya nagabiyahe og lagyo. So nga na ang naging effect siya ha. So accident, robbery, especially katong mga like na hold up ba, nagitutukan gid siya pusil or nadunggaban gid siya. So unsang maging cost ato, madlok na sila mogawas sa ilang balay, madlok sila magtagabi sa kung asa man sila, singan na, and others. They have physical, social and emotional consequence for those affected. So disasters na by casualties, like may mga nasamadan sa accidents, nangasamad ba, physical, social. So socially maging kumbaga dili kay sila maging sociable sa iba, because of their experience, no? For example, victim of robbery, nalanggan ni mosunod siya og lakaw, makulbaan na. Nalanggan ni magsunod-sunod siya haglakaw, bisag padulong sila, silingan na day sila. So makulbaan na. And of course, emotional. So wala man guroy hapit na aksidente or hapit na kumbaga hapit na victim of robbery nga ring nalipay. Of course, they can feel fear. So nga na siya. Psychosocial support. First line, psychosocial support. PFA is important. First line, psychosocial support for people affected by crisis events. So, naman tayo ginatawag nga at kita as individual, we have different source of supports. Ato abang friends, atong family. But when it comes to crisis events, kung asa affected tatanan, no? Mga mayon pa ka dito si ma'am na problema ko, tabangi ko. So dili man pod sila ka focus kay affected pod sila. Friend na ako'y problema. Tubagon na kag friend ako sad. So there are situations kung asa affected both supports. That's why during nga time si PF aiders ang first line sa support. So si PF aiders or di katong mga PF aiders ang maging source of support for the meantime. Immediately after a crisis event, those who assist are often family members, neighbors, teachers, community members, and first responders of various kinds. So, for example, karing na-rescue ka or natabangan ka, like for example, ang karibitawong hostage nga case, no? Sometimes in hostage karang tutukan man gyud ang victim ang hostage og pusil or kutsilyo or any nga weapon, di ba? So dili man ta katong victim pag ma-rescue nato, dili man ta mingon nga ma'am, ikaw ang mama ni kuan, sa ato sa diri kay kinahanglan niya support. So dili man ta makingana. So ang maghatag og support, source of support ay katong the frontline workers when it comes sa ingana. Katong first in line, like katong police, no, the police. So siya sa ang maghatag og support for the meantime. Hindi man ta makaingon nga mabito ka namatay ayo na pag ino. So of course nasila'y kahadlok, nasila'y fear. So they need support para maging comfortable na sila or maka-feel sila og comfort. So that's it. Term PFA was coined in 1940s but its use has increased in modern day crisis events. So PFA began in 1940s but in modern times mas na na siya, kumbaga mas na known. Okay, especially during crisis events na ay disaster, na ay kumbaga events kung asa affected ta, like for example pandemic karon. So yan na. What is PFA? Humane, supportive, and practical assistance to follow human beings who recently suffered from serious stressors. Humane, so makatao. supportive and practical assistance. So one of the use of PFA is to give support and practical assistance. For example, katong mga victims of like for example victims sa disaster. Of course, they have needs. We have to give them assistance. Di man makaingon nga, di man enough nga nakasurvive lang sila. But of course, they have needs. So this is non-intrusive, intrusive, practical care and support. Assessing needs and concern. So after during ingani nga time, so before ta mag conduct og unsa man, we have to ask them kung unsay lahang needs, like pagkaon ba, medical attention ba kay nasamad sila, no? Unsa man ilahang needs, we have to assess kung unsay lahang kinahanglan. Like, kay di man ta pwedeng nga maghatag ta og psychosocial support tapos gutom day sila, or di man pwedeng nga maghatag tag psychosocial support nga gadugo ilang samad. So their needs must be met first. Helping people to address basic needs: food, water. When it comes to psychological and emotional, their basic needs nga kinahanglan, supports, counseling, and others. Listening but not pressuring people to talk. So there are kumbaga sometimes namang gyud tay mga emotions nga dili na to gusto ipagawas because it will just remind us how painful it is, no? So we may listen pero dili na to sila i-force nga mag storya because napagani sila sa state kung asa karing napa sila trauma. So we have to wait kung kano sa sila maging okay para maging ready to share. So another, dili na to sila ma-force to give us information kay base unya ma-recall lang sila sa ilahang bad experience. Instead nga ma-comfort nimo siya, mas lain ang iyahang paminaw, maghilak na noon and others. Comforting people and helping them to feel calm. So we comfort people, no? We let them know nga na sila'y makapitan na maghatag og psychosocial support. So nga na siya. Helping people connect to information, services, and social support. So this is another use of PFA, no? So we connect people to information, to their needs. So nga na siya. Like for example, tong kagaina naday sila mga needs, so we need to ask first kung sila hang needs. Protecting people from further harm. Yan na. PFA is not something professional, only professional can do. So again, even non-professionals, as long as kabalo sa process, they can conduct PFA. Not a professional counseling. So PFA is not professional counseling katong mag-take pagpila ka sessions. So and other process for counseling. Not a clinical or psychiatric intervention. So it doesn't mean nga maghatag tag PFA na anay psychiatric problem ang ato ang client. So, kumbaga ginatabangan nato sila para maging okay before pa ma-fall into greater psychological problem or maging psychiatric problem or disorder. So it is not psychological debriefing, not asking people to analyze what happened or put time and event in order. So unsay nahitabo karang detailed gyud. So dili pod nga na ang PFA. We go straight kung unsa ang naging problem, and we give psychosocial supports for their karing naging problem nila or naging outcome ato nga problem. Not pressuring people to tell you their story or asking details about how they feel or what happened. So that is not, or kumbaga mao na siya ang na PFA. So not pressuring people to tell. Even in counseling, we do not pressure people to tell their stories. No, we only ask them to talk, and we assess. Why PFA? People do better over long term if they feel safe, connected to others, calm and hopeful. So which is true. Pag feel safe kanita, natay connection with others, no? Then we may feel better. Especially pag kabalutang natay makapitan, safe ta, then we feel better, we are comfortable, we are okay. Have access to social, physical, emotional support. Pag for example karing family naghatag og support, dili lang in it comes to economic, but of course psychological and emotional support. So we are better. Kumbaga okay ang ato ang paminaw. Another is regain sense of control by being able to help themselves. So kumbaga they have the ability to face their problem alone. They can cope up because of their supports. Okay, who can benefit PFA? Boys, girls, women, men who have recently experienced a crisis event and distress. So that's why PFA is for all. For those who have who recently experienced crisis event, disaster ba, accident caused by karing human conflicts, armed conflicts, terrorism, so nga na, they can benefit PFA. Some people need for more than PFA alone, such as people with life-threatening injuries or unable to care for themselves or their children. So isa sila sa maka-benefit for PFA. When encountering a person in distress, usually immediately following a crisis event. So dili man ta manginahanglan og usually di man ta manginahanglan og or wala man taga pangayo og psychosocial support pag okay ta, happy ta, di ba? So when should the PFA provided? Pag na tayo ma-encounter nga distress. Where? Anywhere that is safe for the helper and affected person, ideally with private as appropriate to the situation. So, if possible, do it in private. No, when we are giving PFA, because dili manggod na sometimes ikaw daw be maka-feel magyud kaulaw nga mohilak in public, no? Maka-feel man kaulaw pag kumbaga dili private ang ato ang setting, mag-share ka sa imong information. So anywhere as long as it is safe and if possible private. Okay, how to help responsibly? Adapt. What do you take account of person's culture? Respect safety, dignity, and rights. Safety, don't expose people to further harm. Like for example, na ganin siya, karang hapit gani siya ma-rape. Tapos dili pagid nimo siya, wa pagid nimo siya gikandakan og PFA in private, ma-judge noon siya sa ibang tao or machismis noon siya. Tingnan na. They are safe and protected from further physical or psychological harm. Respect safety. We ensure the safe sila. Dignity, treat people with respect and according to their cultural and social norms. Like for example, karing armed conflict dito sa kabukiran, tapos ang victim kay mga IPs, no? So we have to help them or treat them with dignity, kay namanggoy uban judgmental kayo, no? So inga naman gid ang society. Rights, act only in people's best interest, ensure access to impartial assistance without discrimination, assist people to claim their rights and access available support. So we should recognize their rights, no? So bisag unsa pa na siya, bisag uneducated person, karang walay formal education or IPs, they have rights, no? Bisag tigulang ba, they have rights. We all have our natural rights, basic rights. Okay, so isa na siya sa ato ang tagaan og respeto. Be aware of other emergency response measures. Care for caregivers, practice self-care and team care. Helping responsibility, ethical guidelines. Those, be honest and trustworthy. So, karapat dapat ka sa ligan, maaasahan, no? And of course, you are honest nga PFAder. Respect person's right to make decision. So, especially pag social worker ta, we do we let or respect self-determination. As long as i-guide na to ang client, kabalo siya gingna na to what may be the outcome sa iyang gipili nga decision, then we do not have the right to dictate kung unsa ang dapat decision niya. So our client always have the right to make decision. Be aware of and set aside your own biases and prejudices. So if possible, para maging effective imong help nga i-extend, avoid biases and prejudices. Make it clear to people that even if they refuse help now, they can still access help in the future. So if dili sila gusto nga or dili pa sila gusto og tabang for now, then do not force them, no, because in the future they can still ask for help. Moduol gyapon na sila soon if they can feel nga need na gid nila. Sige na. Respect privacy and keep the person's story confidential. So the principle of confidentiality, gisaligan gani kasi mong client sayang information because we swear it na maging confidential. No one will know, so we have to keep it confidential. Behave appropriately according to the person's culture, age, and gender. Alangan na magmoingon kag imuhang kasturya kay adult tapos marapog kag bata-bataon, so you should act appropriately. So especially pag for example eyepiece, no, sometimes ang iba sila dali lang maka-feel og discrimination, so we should act appropriately. Don't exploit your relationship as helper, no, so always have self-awareness. So always have your self-awareness as a worker. Kay basig maka-develop kag transference, counter-transference, or maging bias pug ka sa imong client. So always have self-awareness. Don't ask the person for any money or favor for helping them. So dili man ni parehaan ng ampuan ka tapos pangayoan kag 20. So we extend our help for free, no. Don't make false promises or give false information. So during this time ato ang client kay nagahope, nagaasa, tapos false hopes day mong gihatag. Imbes nga ma-relieve sila, dili na lang. But sometimes white lies are applicable, especially if that is the only way nga karang sometimes white lies are helpful man good, no, depending on the situation. So always depend on the situation. Do not exaggerate your skills. Don't force help on people, and don't be intrusive or pushy. Dili mamugos kung dili siya gusto, because masayang lang imong time. Di man gyapon na siya mag-ooperate, no. Don't pressure people to tell you their story. So pag dili sila gusto kay maulo sila, then do not force them. Don't share the person's story with others. Again, keep it confidentially. Don't judge the person for their actions or feelings. Okay? Action principle. Look, listen, and link. Prepare. Learn about the crisis event. So unsa ba ang mga crisis events? We have to know it. Accident ba? disaster, pandemics. So as long as nagako siya og stress sa tao, that is or maging crisis, na siya, source of crisis. Learn about available services and supports. So isa sa to ang dapat ma-master is to know unsa ang mga asa ta makapangayo og support or asa ta makatap og services. DSWD ba o private institutions, private agencies. So we should know it. Learn about safety and security concern. So safety and security concern, dili ta mag-conduct in or kinahanglan ilayo sa nato siya from other harm before conducting the PFA. Observe for safety. Observe for people with obvious urgent basic needs. Observe for people with serious distress reactions. Like for example, in obvious urgent basic needs, nasamadan, kinaigo og naglupad nga atop during typhoon. So alangan magkandak na dayog PFA nga nagadugo pa yang samad. So they are in obvious or in urgently in need of medical attention. So ipadressing sana yang samad bago magkandak og PFA. Pakanasa. So nga na siya. People with serious distress reaction, pag napagani siya karing tawag na to fear, napa siya kahadlok or napa siya trauma about something say nahitabo, kinahanglan hulaton sa nato nga ma-comfort siya before mag-proceed, kay dili gyapon na siya ka-focus if ever. Make contact with people who may need support. So sometimes maulaw sila mag-approach. So kita na mismo mag-approach. Ask about people's needs and concern. Basic needs ba? Unsay lahang concern? In need ba sila og help? So inga na. Listen to people and help them feel calm. So kita as PF aiders, we must be a good listener para makuha gyud nato ang tama nga information, and of course help them to be calm. Help people address basic needs and access services or linkages. Dili man ta direct provider, so we link them with the services. Help people cope with their problems. So sa kinsa man na mga supports pa niya maliban sa PF aiders, so we link them to people nga makahatag sa og other supports. Give information, connect people with loved ones and social supports. Okay, so that is the PFA. So our subject is actually divided, or duha siya ka subject supposedly in the old curriculum. So disaster na siya karon og culture of peace. So this is mao ni siya tong last topic for the disaster, and next time proceed ta to culture of peace. So hope na walay mahimong lockdown, hopefully para maka ta sa to ang activity. makabuhata sa to ang future activities when pagnanata sa culture of peace. Okay, so good morning everyone.